Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. There are people all around the world watching this, so times are weird. We got game 2 of our semifinals matchup between Jet082 and Ninban tonight. Jet took game 1. We can recap that a little bit here shortly. For now, I am Mentos Man 8, joined tonight by Karaoke. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well tonight. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well too. The race between these two yesterday was just silly, and I'm looking forward to this one. It should be a very good match.
Of course, when we're late in the tournament, any match is going to be a good match, I think. So, what was the change that was made by Ninban? As you know, the rules in the tournament state that the loser can change one setting on the seeds for the next roll.
I won't lie to you, I got to the race room after they had started. I gotta take a look real quick. They are doing no changes, it looks like. Looks like everything is just a normal 7-7 defeat Ganon, so should be a very, very straightforward match.
I think this is the first match I've commentated where it's been a game 2 where they're just doing a run back, basically. Same settings, same everything, just I guess whatever you're comfortable with. If this is the mode you're most comfortable with and you just think that, the seed was rude, go back and try again and put your skills to their maximum potential.
Absolutely. Did you see the game 1 between these two last night?
I was tuning in and out of it, watching parts of it, so I didn't catch the entire thing, but I definitely noticed some interesting things that happened.
Yeah, I think for those who didn't catch it in chat, the highlight was kind of early on. Both runners made the choice to take a 50-50 shot going for Armos Knights instead of the vanilla big key chest. And then about 15 minutes later, they both made their way back there for the Moon Pearl, and both felt awful, I'm sure. That was kind of the tone setter of that match.
Yeah, one of those when you realize you could have had that thing to progress, 15, 30 minutes earlier than when you got it. It makes your brain start churning its wheels going, did my opponent get that? Am I behind? And you can see some really interesting kind of routing changes and just, changes in how the player is playing at that point. If they start noticing that they might have missed something, might have fallen way behind, they might start taking a few more gambles, a few different routes that they might not normally go down. Can be interesting versus, kind of getting in your groove versus getting knocked off your rails.
And with fantastic timing, we are off. Both runners starting at the Sanctuary, going to grab a map out of the chest here. You would almost think that we had planned the timing of that intro with how perfectly that race started.
Alright, let's not get into any commentary curses just yet. Ninban doing a very quick map check. I noticed Crystal on Hera and Crystal in Desert. Couldn't see the blinking on Eastern Palace as quickly, though.
There was a crystal over at Eastern, too. So, same thing as they had yesterday, actually. 3 crystals in the Light World, which you really want to see. And the tree pole and the bush crabs are not helping these two out. They've gotten 20 rupees from the tree pole, but hey, they're the bombs they wanted anyway. We also saw what appeared to be the edge of a green rupee over in the lumberjack hut, or lumberjack cave. So we're not gonna be seeing that one way or the other today. Both of these runners are going to be making their way down to Kakariko. Ninban has gotten through the early checks here a little bit quicker, mainly because he didn't do Lumberjack, so he got down to Kakariko the length of walking to Lumberjack earlier.
No, it wasn't because his sprite has like 10 billion legs.
I mean, he could start scuttling along like Argus does, and I'm sure he'd be moving a little bit quicker.
Yeah, shoutouts to the community for making very many. I think we're in the hundreds now, over 100, over 200 maybe, different sprites for our players to choose from, including, bosses from the game itself or characters from other games. And we got a bottle in Kakariko. That is very handy to get. We can just drop right down to Sick Kid.
Yep, definitely ideal to be getting that now, not, at the race game and have to go, oh, I really have to walk back up to Sick Kid. This is awful. So we also did get a lot of money in Blind's Hut there, which is going to help afford the bottle vendor buying some bombs when we're done with Kakariko. So we didn't see anything of note in the well there, but we'll be catching the couple of checks that we weren't able to see on Jet's side here.
Just a couple bits of money I saw from Ninban's side. Helpful to have in case, say, those flip-flops come in early and we need to head up to Zora area, and then we'll have the money without needing to possibly grind for it. But we have a lot of item checks left in this first grouping here. Oh, I did get the flippers, okay. Yeah, okay. Zora's in play. Eventually.
We're off to a rousing start. So yeah, that's about all we're getting in Kakariko so far. Sick Kid was just a little bit more money. Back of the bar, a piece of heart. So flippers, a bottle, and a bloomerang. So after we check the library and the race game, yesterday they had some pretty... Oh! That's a mirror on the library shelf.
That's a boots required on the library shelf.
It is, and strangely enough, on their race yesterday, the go mode trend was get the boots complete desert and then get the mirror from Pyramid Fairy. So 2 races in a row for these two. The mirror has been boots locked. Oh, the flute right there.
Aww. I'll have to go back to Kakariko eventually. Sooner than later.
Yep, and I was gonna say, they both went on kind of wildly divergent routes after the start. Maybe not wildly, but very divergent from what you expect on a seed. So it'll be interesting to see if they kind of do things, quote-unquote, out of the standard order, or a little bit more normally.
Ninban using his newly found swimming ability to waddle over to the guy under the bridge and see what he has today. And at 400 rupees, we'll see if he ends up, if this guy hands over 100, it might end up Zora, otherwise we'll probably be checking some other places. It's just a little bit of love.
Actually taking a save and quit out of the hobo and going to just carry on from there. Going to Sanctuary, much like Jet, making the trip over to Kakariko to activate the flute, because that'll just save you more time than trying to route it in conveniently. And we have our little flying buddy. He's going to help us get around. We'll open up Death Mountain, but as it stands, they only have 1 item in Logic there, so I don't expect to be seeing that much at all for a while.
Yeah, better to take this quick flight down to the more usual South Shore area and start hitting up those places.
And no mirror or hookshot to get us through the dam in one go. So going to have to go the long, intended way of going back out the door and then coming back in. I'm rewarded with a blue shirt, so that's, nice. Even though for Jet, that blue shirt makes him orange.
Freshly laundered. Freshly laundered clothes from the swamp water.
What more could you ask for?
Checking how many items they found of use so far. A lot of things? Especially because we had to do mini Mordron Cave with bombs.
See, I like Mini Moldorm Cave with bombs. It's, a little bit less annoying sometimes than trying to do with the sword. But another location down and another nothing gotten. Jet is conveniently sitting at exactly 500 rupees though, so that's nice. Jet gonna swim up to talk to Hobo, which Ninban did a little bit ago. Ninban will probably head either to Ice Rod Cave or to the Flippers checks. I know yesterday he routed a little bit differently, ended up going to Agina over Ice Rod Cave. But he's swimming over this way at the very least. To head up to the waterfall does not quite have that 500 rupees, unlike Jet. So, hoping to get some here.
No, we got lift power. Finding, along with a little bitty shield, your power glove. I had to remember which one was first. Power glove in the chest in the waterfall. And also picking up a blue potion from the fairy friend. And Ninban just kind of peeking at what's on the ledge there, since it doesn't have the 500. Gonna have to make a second trip up this way once it gets, help me with some math. 55 more rupees.
Yep, this will be our first little bit of divergence between these two in terms of Jet getting that Zora item. Ninban, meanwhile, on his way over here to Sahasrara, while Jet goes on this nice long walk around the water here. Here we go, we got 20 bucks, we got 10 arrows, and we got another shield. At some point, the game has to give them items, right?
You'd think. Zora doesn't have any either.
Yep, so that won't hurt Ninban in the way of missing out on progression. It will hurt him in the fact that he does have to go back there eventually. But it's not a, major hurt. Jet gonna take the nice quick checks of the back of Escape out of the way first, while Ninban makes his way into Eastern Palace. No bows, so we cannot clear the dungeon, but we can get everything else out of there. And 300 rupees in the back of Escape. If you're Jet, you don't hate seeing that because, well, you just got to 0 rupees, so... Jet is going to head over to Eastern Palace at the same on the same kind of track. Ninban gets his second item out of Eastern with 10 arrows. So far, we are still not finding anything of consequence. The flippers, got to the glove, but that was it. The flute has not gotten us anything yet. Just kind of nothing. Gonna be coming up on this chest here. If it's the big key, we might get the ideal Eastern layout. It is the big key.
Woohoo!
So now you hope item number 3 in the big chest, and then you just don't have to do anything else here.
Nope. That's a compass. We're leaving.
Yep, Ninban taking the same chance that he took yesterday, and not going to that vanilla big key chest right away. We'll see if Jet also repeats the little bit of a gamble. So that is, of course, the big chest was, of course, the last in logic location. Without a lamp to get through to the vanilla big key chest, that's not in logic. But it's a thing they very much can do, and skipping it when it was out of logic yesterday hurt them. So it's always interesting to see when people let those annoying rando moments get to them versus kind of hold to their guns and keep playing as they do.
Yeah, and when you're talking about going into out-of-logic locations, you always kind of have to wonder, what if something there throws them off what the path is supposed to be? Now, this seed is pretty closed off right now, that there hasn't been a lot of open paths for them to get because they haven't found a lot of items to open up new paths. So it's possible that heading into one of those out-of-logic locations would send them, somewhere good and get more progress, compared to a time when you follow that out of logic and end up way off the beaten track. Ninban heading into the front half of Escape now, because that's something to do. And still finding not a lot of anything.
And Jet is going to continue around and show us what's in this vanilla big key chest. I'm going to be honest, if he had the bow like he did yesterday, I would expect him to make the same play he did yesterday of going to the boss. But, here he doesn't have that bow. He doesn't have the ability to take a 50-50 gamble, so he's just grabbing the other item while he's here. Ninban only has 5 bombs for Escape right now. That means he's gotta be basically perfect. That's a mushroom in the vanilla big key chest of Eastern Palace. We'll probably see that checked here quickly. You can check it right away, nice and fast, with flute, and then if you want to, hard reset out of it.
Having the flute already makes that mushroom check a lot quicker and a lot less of a one-off location than it would be without it. Let's see what the witch cooks up for us today in her soup. It's just money soup. Kinda crunchy. I think I'd break a tooth if you tried to eat a rupee.
I would hope your tooth would break too, a gemstone. That said, we did get the hammer in Escape in the boomerang chest. Ninban was using the boomerang to stun the guards, make sure he didn't run out of bombs, and then boom, here's a hammer. Have fun, kiddo. And the final chest here is the Moon Pearl. That's Dark World access for Ninban from Escape. That's where all the items were. So Jet is working his way through, well, done working his way through the old man cave now. Gonna get the item from the old man, which is out of logic. Gonna go up and check the inside of Spectacle Rock, and then going to head to escape because it's all he has left. Ninban working his way through the dark rooms in escape here, trying to get to the dark cross chest. That room with the snakes in the hallway there that he just got through can be annoying, but Boomerang makes it a lot more tolerable.
Both sides, Spectacle Rock, inside and out, just have a heart, so, gonna head out of there, and... Where are we going next, Jet? Oh, he's buying some bombs.
Ninban had a little bit of trouble getting through that dark room there, but did find the chest eventually, got a bottle out of it. Not really what you want to see after you took kind of a little bit of time lost losing track of the chest like that. Said Ninban will be the first one to enter into the Dark World. Popping up the rock, going to head over to Hype Cave to begin with. And map check shows us 5-6 crystals at ice and ice and mire like vanilla.
Tasty. Meanwhile, our pendants are at Swamp, Turtle Rock, and Palace of Darkness. Those are kind of all the, high number of chest dungeons, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. That's an awkward pendant alignment, not really an ideal one at all. We got bombs and a piece of heart out of Hype Cave, but couldn't see the other three, so we'll kind of see what was going on there when Jet gets around to them.
Hype rating withheld until further notice.
So Ninban gonna work his way to the west here, gonna check Stumpy, gonna head over to check the digging game. Jet, meanwhile, embarking on his bombs escape, having quite a fine time with the first room.
Yeah, that was a really good setup. Sorry. Yeah, so that was a really good setup to know the knockback distance of that guard of your first bomb placement and just place the second one, kind of chain it like that.
Yep, Ninban took a little bit of a slower strat on there, probably mainly because he had the exact amount of bombs needed. Jet can kind of play it the go for broke way because, well, he's got enough bombs to get by. Okay, that's a lot different from the way I usually do that room, and I like that a lot more, and I'm stealing it.
Alright, well, the next time you go into the shop, you're gonna get zapped and called thief.
I'm okay with that. And there's a cape on the digging game. That will open up Bumper Cave. It's kind of nice to get in the way when you've already done the stuff to the south of Village of Outcasts. You can go check that pretty easy. Get another Death Warp to go check Dark Cross, and then Ninban makes his way up Death Mountain. Still can't do much of anything other than check in on the Spectacle Rock item. So we'll see if Jet has a little bit better time with this dark room here. Ninban walking back out of Spectacle Rock makes me think, no, he's going to, what's it called? Spike Cave, that's the word.
At 22 minutes in, this is probably the earliest Spike Cave check I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's definitely on the earlier than normal side. Ninban gonna walk behind this torch here. Fun fact, there are no spikes directly behind the torch. So he walks back there, uses the blue potion in safety, and is going to make it through no problem.
For 20 rupees. I like the skills, but the payoff was a little weak.
Yeah, not really all that helpful. So Jet is going to go into the Dark World from the other side here. He's going up to the Village of Outcasts, gonna check that out. Ninban, meanwhile, going to buy another blue potion.
2 blue potions. He actually has the 2 bottles. And let's see where he goes next. Gonna make the same play as Jet. Sure looks like it, alright. Heading to the next most item-dense area in the Dark World. Or, we can go north and go to Skullwoods instead. For Jet.
Yep, and if I recall correctly, in the race yesterday, the avoidance of Skullwoods for a while was one of those things that kind of set Jet back.
Yeah, that's the clip I watched like 3 times or so, because it's quite funny seeing the boots and then the ice rod, and a couple people talking were kind of like, wouldn't it be funny if the boots and the ice rod were here? So I can see why you might want to head over here, just in case it has as much value as it did last time.
I believe that was from a different race, an earlier one.
Oh, was that the earlier one?
Yes. Yeah, if I recall correctly, there was a ether medallion and the ice rod, maybe it was. Okay, nope, I was wrong. So anyway, we are continuing around the Dark World loop. Got the bow out of the Bomble Hut for Ninban, who went south instead of up to Skullwood. Now dropping into Thieves Town. Big key in the first chest. It's got to be in one of these front 4. So, it has to happen some point. And Skullwoods does not net Jet anything of interest. He doesn't have the cape, so he might go check Bumper Cave, but he won't be able to get the item. I appreciate the extra little map check as someone who routinely has moments of, wait, what was on the map?
Yeah, just making sure. Which dungeon is it good to go through? Probably Thieves Town next. Go Thieves Town and go through the entire thing, because hey, we can clear the entire thing. We have the hammer this time. Or, just open the first 4 chests and move on.
Yep, clearing out Thieves Town is pretty straightforward. The tough part is after that. I mean, with the bow, you've got all of Pod open to you, but it's a pendant. So 5 items, but not required. Do you go for it? Ninban is going upstairs to the back of the dungeon. We have a couple items left to find. At least 2 of them. I forget if it was more than that. Bombing open the hole in the ground. Oh hey, there's a fire rod in Ninban's inventory that I didn't notice earlier.
I'm gonna put 20 rupees that's in Hype Cave.
Yep, I'd say that is very likely. With Jet opening that chest up there and getting the map, that actually made me see that we had all 4 items in the back of the dungeon, which is just lovely.
Yeah, so no matter what, have to go through the entire thing if you want all of the stuff. Oh, the lifting animation for the Argus sprite is kind of cute because he gets little puffs on the side of his head.
Oh hey, it's the ice rod for that other pendant dungeon. Enjoy.
Oh, indeed.
Nothing says Link to the Past Randomizer like the ice rod being completely free when you already know T-Rock is a pendant. Those are nice though. You want to see those.
Yeah. The thieves are doing a good job stealing this time, considering they have 2 really decent items in their back basement here.
Yep, and depending on how clever they are, you know, that mirror is on the library in the light world. Maybe they put that there for their own use.
Gasp. Nefarious thieves. Let's hammer them.
Ninban seems to like that idea. He got through phase 1 pretty easily. You can't really script blind with the hammer.
It's a little bit too slow for the 1 round scripting there, just to get him before he falls down to the bottom. You can usually get them if you're at the bottom there, and Ninban was on 1.5 hearts, and okay, you got it. Had to hold my breath there a little bit, seeing how low on health he was there. And there's our first crystal at just about 30 minutes into the seed today.
Yep, a little bit of a rough fight on blind, but all things considered, got through it without issue. When you can't just hold the hammer out like you can the sword to hit on the first frame every time, blind gets a lot more difficult than when you just have a sword and everything is very, very simple once you know it. Now heading up to the blind fight himself is Jet, Ninban checking that bumper cave. Now he's got some choices to make. It seems his choice is going to be, I'm going to Skull Woods.
Now, even though he has the fire rod, he can't finish the dungeon because you need a sword to cut through the vines to get back to Mothula. Wrong franchise. But, can at least check this front bit and maybe kind of go into the back a little bit and get a few of the chests there.
Yeah, you could make the choice to go to that chest under the bridge. I don't know offhand if it should have an item in it or not. But you can always make that choice to try to go for that. I've seen the first sword there before. And that'll do it for Ninban, wrapping up the couple of checks in the front of Skullwoods there. And then moving right along. You got the boots, that gets you the mirror. So why not go for that right away? So at this point, in terms of, what we need for Go Mode, we're going to need a Cane of Samaria. We're going to need at least one medallion. And technically we need a hook shot, and we need 2 swords. I do not believe Jet hovers. I don't think I've seen Ninban do it before either. I could be crossing that up with someone else, though. So I'm working on the assumption that we are going to need the hook shot in this seed, but... And Ninban, going back to Dark Death Mountain, going to mirror over here. This is access to go clear out Hera, as well as to get over to East Death Mountain, which will be probably some value. It usually is. Said, I am interested in the fact that Jet came down here to do the south loop from the Village of Outcasts without getting that mirror first where he could loop in Cave 45 with it. Get the big key in the chest downstairs in Hera, and we'll be heading upstairs. Meanwhile, hey, that's where the fire rod was.
Oh, and there's a quick medallion in there too.
So there is, that I have apparently missed on Ninban's menu every time he's menued. Whoops.
And it's okay. It's only kind of small and brightly colored yellow. It's easy to miss.
Sure, let's go with that. So Ninban not doing the bomb jump to the big chest in Hera. Gonna do the vanilla intended way instead. Or not.
That's the wrong hole.
We get the mirror on Jet's side. Ninban going to do take 2 at getting this big chest. And Jet taking that mirror, doing the same thing, heading right up the mountain. The mirror didn't really open up much outside of the mountain, but it opens up a lot up here.
And now it is time for Hammer Moldorm.
Oh, I've been trying to learn the all dungeons route of vanilla because of the upcoming tournament for that. And Hammer Moldorm is so much more satisfying than Fighter Sword Moldorm.
Is it the satisfying squish of the tail when you smash it down?
That probably sums it up pretty well. And Jet saying, I don't need that cane of burn. I'm just leaving that there. $20 on the floating island. Ninban going to do Spiral Cave here before heading into Paradox. Oh, and we apparently got the hook shot in Hera, I'm assuming. So he's got that going for him now, which is nice.
We didn't see the big chest item, so that might have been from the big chest. I was just gonna make a comment too about how you got the boots to run through it, but no like easy weapon to smash the dudes with, like the hook shot, and he actually had the hook shot. So Jet setting up for the bomb jump across the gap here instead of doing it the vanilla way. Yeah, there's the hook shot, big chest.
That's, a nice find, but at this point, if you get, you're getting close to the point where now you got all of Swamp able to be cleared. All of Pod isn't in logic, but you can clear it all. Once you can get into T-Rock, you can beat it, but you need the cane and the mitts to get in there at least.
And we still don't have any swords. Where are the pointy bits?
Maybe we're playing, version 23, and 3 of the swords are just in GT. Okay, I'm gonna indulge myself here and make Chad happy, and come up with the idea of 3 swords in GT, 1 on pedestal.
But don't you need a sword to get into Turtle Rock? Because the medallion?
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. I'm sorry to burst your bubble there, but I had to poke it open.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't want that to happen. I was just trying to give Chad a little bit of a happy moment. Because right now, pedestal is nearly dead. It could be a medallion for Meyer, but it's basically dead. So now, Ninban back up in the Skullwoods area. Probably going to go out to the right over here and use that mirror to go check the Graveyard Ledge, Bonk Rocks, and King's Tomb.
That's some good routing there, as I found watching through this tournament and daily races and such not recently that Graveyard Ledge is kind of one of those orphaned locations oftentimes, where, especially like if you don't do it where you're kind of doing like the pyramid catfish type trip thing, also hitting the bonk rocks here, that's smart routing. You can kind of forget Graveyard Ledge.
And yeah, Graveyard Ledge is kind of, usually by the time you have access to it, you have no reason to go back to the area. So when you get something early like this, it's kind of nice to make the trip early, just like, hey, I can actually do this.
And also comboing it into bonk rocks there, which is a very good idea. I like that. And we got some literacy.
Yeah, Book is not really what you want to see because, well, you already have access to desert once you get mitts. Now you have the book that you can walk down there with, but nobody wants to do that. Ooh, Ninban hopping down from the Graveyard Ledge can't get to King's Tomb anymore. That's unfortunate.
And actually using the book to get into desert. Since yeah, we don't have lift power to go the other way around and go into the back door.
Yeah, we get a split play here. Ninban going for the 2 items in Crystal Desert, while Jet goes for the 6 items in Pendant Swamp. Of course, Swamp has more items, but it's also not required to beat the seed, so you really like to avoid it if possible. Hey, sword number 1.
Yeah, I bet that feels good to finally be able to run through things.
Yep, it definitely makes the boots significantly better having the sword along with them. The obligatory small key in the big chest, going to head to the right side for the 2 items over there. And then, you know, either way, gonna go kill Lamolus because Crystal. I like how Jet is just standing there threatening that skeleton while the water raises. As soon as it goes down, boom, drops the hammer.
I just have to make sure that the water fills up properly, and then I'll smash your head open.
Jet grabbing the small key from the side there. Now, if anyone out there is following the Link to the Past Discord, the Link to the Past Randomizer Discord, you've probably seen these series of ridiculous new things that's being discovered, including a way to save a lot of backtracking in Swamp. But those are all currently in the status of don't do them. They haven't been officially given a final ruling, but they're kind of in the can't do it for now category at the moment.
Yeah, shoutouts to the rando community for finding so many more new paths, routing, glitches, bugs, things in this game after so many years.
Oh, it wasn't the rando community. This was, a lot of this was Yuzuhara from the vanilla community.
Oh, wow, vanilla too, yeah.
Yeah, he's a madman when it comes to finding new ways to break this game. And a piece of heart there. We did see the map in the drowned chest down there. So it'll need to be at least one item on the left side. Jet has not really gotten lucky going in here yet. Ninban taking a little bit of a rough time with Argus. A few arrows early, but a couple of fire rod shots that didn't go as planned.
And now trying to hammer Lamolas, and that's a tough hitbox to get, considering their hurt box is their whole, like, body there? No, is it their whole body isn't a hurt box? It's hard, I don't like it. But, going back to the arrows, it's smart.
I was gonna say, I think at this point you just settle down for NMG strats, use your fighter sword and arrows, and just do it that way. Getting low on health, down to half a heart. He does have...
Use your potion! Use your potion!
Good. Good.
Yeah, then you can go back to the rod strats, because you got magic there. Of course, it's when there's one hit left. It always happens that way.
Yeah, and I would, if I am looking at that, I am chalking that up to... This is the semifinals of this tournament, and you got some nerves built up, and things go wrong. But he gets his crystal out of there anyway, can continue on. Jet gets his pendant out of Swamp, and goes right back in for left side. I think that's the right choice, because, well, if you don't go back in, you got nothing out of here, and it was all a waste of time. If you go back in, maybe you find something on left side.
Yeah, sticking to the decision here of heading to Swamp, basically. Just clearing it out, getting it done and over with. Ninban hitting up Agina's cave and getting something out of the chest.
If we couldn't see it, we could hear that it was rupees, so... Okay, Jet going around to the left side of Swamp. Going to grab the key down here, walk all the way back around in the circle to go flip some switches, and then walk all the way back. It's so fun.
And looking like Ninban's gonna get that Skull Woods clear for another crystal.
Yeah,
Makes
definitely
sense.
makes
Something
sense.
I like to say. Yeah, something I like to say is that, you know you can do this, finish off a crystal dungeon, you might as well make your progress, and then think about your next steps while you're doing it. Instead of just kind of waffling around and going, I don't know where I'm gonna go next, I'm gonna go run across the world and think. But hey, something simple, you've already half done the dungeon. Might as well go and finish it off.
You can also get a little bit of a pick-me-up, you know, try to get a good moth fight to lift you up from that Lamolus fight that went so wrong. Jet is coming up on the left side here. That's the compass, so the one item is maybe here, maybe in the big chest. So, oh.
Oh.
So for his efforts diving into Swamp, Jet has unlocked more lag! Gotta love the fact that the best shield in the game is barely different than the earlier shield, and also makes your game laggier. Every speedrunner's dream.
It must make them lag because the sprite can't see over the shield, so it has to think harder because it can't see. And it doesn't want to crash into anything. There's the in-universe, what do you call it? Excuse for lag. Hey, there's a moth fight going on. Going for hammer strats here. That was easy.
Yeah, very nice, and that's definitely that palate cleanser I was talking about after the Lamolus. That is crystal number 4 for Ninban as Jet dives into pendant number 2. Going to be checking out the Palace of Darkness. This is another 5 items. Now, of course, Jet does not have the book from Bonk Rocks, which means he doesn't have the sword from Desert, which means that, you know, he can't clear Skull Woods, he can't clear Desert. So his trips to these pendant dungeons make a lot of sense.
And there you go, chat. Ped is officially dead. Just 10 arrows.
As it should always be, to be honest. Jet heading to the right side of Pod. Ninban, meanwhile, is going down to make the swamp play, it looks like. So he stands to save some time over Jet here if he decides not to go get that one item on the left side. But he's going to give back most of the time that Jet spent in Swamp right now. And we are working our way through the front of Palace of Darkness, which has a bunch of keys and maybe a little bit of value, but mostly just keys. Okay, that's important.
That's value.
And now missing out on that book in the Bonk Rocks is maybe not gonna hurt Jet at all. He's gonna go to Crystal Eastern, kill Armos now. So worth noting, they have both already been to Eastern. Jet got all 3 items out of here his first time through. The third item being the mushroom. Meanwhile, Ninban went through there, cut off without getting the mushroom, so he's got, one extra item to look at with Eastern. Jet, this is just the crystal. So with the fire rod, this back of Eastern is in logic because, well, you turn to your right and shoot, and boom, you can see everything.
Those torches are typically forgotten, as when you're playing normally. You have a lamp that gives you a little cone of light, or like you get the lamp early and then head here and you got your cone of light. But some logic dictates that you can light torches on fire. That's just how physics works. I'm not a scientist.
So Jet, still without a sword, has to do some little bit awkward way of killing those popos versus just, a single spin attack. But gets through it nicely up to Armos.
And setting up for the quick kill very nicely here. There we go.
Yep, got a little bit off alignment, but managed to swing back around and get the kill. Very nicely done. So Jet going to flute away, probably to the mire area. Ninban going to kill Argus, and then we'll see what he wants to do about the left side and the one item there.
Yeah, with one item you can theoretically kind of take a gamble on it and say, I'm just gonna leave it. That's it. I'm not gonna go back and get it. Meyer needs the ether medallion, so we can't get in there just yet.
And there's the king to Samaria.
Unfortunate, because, the thing to finish Meyer is next door.
Yep, so that makes the ether medallion the sword mode item. Jet's gonna get his first sword here soon. Ninban's got his fighter sword. But, that might be our go mode, is getting a second sword.
Mini Argus finally gets all the cream puffs off of Big Argus and is now going to squish it.
Yep, there can be only one true Argus. I wonder if this is like how Argus, moves on in the world, and every time an Argus defeats another Argus, they gotta add another R to their name.
So now Ninban is playing an Argus?
Yep, just throw on that fourth R right there. So we are heading down to the right side of the desert for Jet. He is going to get his 20 rupees, then go kill Lambo. Ninban, meanwhile, is going to head over here and check the Bombos tablet, leaving one item behind in the left side of Swamp.
And from our view from high above, we know this is a wise decision.
But just some couch cash, so not gonna come back to that when we have another sword. Now, going back to the Dark World for Ninban is a little bit unexpected, just because there's not a lot of convenient routes he can take to get anywhere he needs to go from here. Oh, Graveyard, or K45. I may have forgotten that we did not see this already. Okay, that's a fetch quest that we can do now.
It's nice that it's kind of nearby that area.
Definitely makes for convenient routing and a very nice land walls fight for Jet. 6 fire rod shots, 3 dead worms, and a crystal gained. So one would have to assume Jet is going to go check Checkerboard Cave after this, and he's got a few options on the table from there.
And the bat curses us today with more money. Now your money sack is even heavier. Ha ha ha.
That's rude. How dare you? And Ninban missing out on Fence Dash. The unfortunate moment. So going back to the Dark World up here, he might be heading back for that King's Tomb check that he meant to do with Graveyard Ledge earlier before getting the accidental jump off the ledge before going to it. Jet catching flight to location 8, going to head into Ice Palace and see if that crystal dungeon can offer him the ether medallion he so dearly desires.
Yeah, ether medallion and another sword too. That'd be nice to find while we're in here.
It would be. I'm kind of hoping for the funny moment of a sword in Ice Rod Cave. It's like, oh, this was here all along, huh?
Well, if you think about it, this is a cave with ice that you need a rod for, so you're kind of right on technicality, because there's another sword.
Hooray! So, Ninban got the red mail out of King's Tomb, Jet getting the far more valuable Master Sword. So at this point, it's all down to the Ether Medallion. It could be basically anywhere except for inside Misery Mire. So that's always fun.
So how about, what if Bombos is somewhere, Turtle Rock requires Bombos, and Ether's in Turtle Rock? Eh? Anyone? Anyone?
You are a crueler person than I. And Ninban is going to route Zora in here as well. He did not have the money for this earlier like Jet did, so he skipped it. Now he's checking it like, please don't be the answer.
Yeah, I don't want a weird pathing like that for Ether Medallion. It's just kind of a proof of like, hey, this could be anywhere. And anywhere meaning, you know, could be somewhere pretty deep where they don't expect to go. But we're hoping it is within the kind of beaten path of what they're thinking here. Either, you know, pretty much down to Ice Palace here, I assume, for things they can clear while getting progression made.
Well, we got all of Dark Death Mountain and potentially the T-Rock Dive are the big options after Ice Palace. But hey, we won't go there because there's
Oh!
Ether.
So do we call this anti-curse because we're talking about the worst possible things that they're gonna have to do to get swords and medallions, and they're just right there in their face?
Yeah, maybe that works. So Jet is in go mode, just barely over an hour in. He just has to finish Ice Palace, do Mire and Skull Woods. Ninban going to pot is going to get his mitts soon. We'll see if he also dives out right away. And Jet, I would expect to see open some chests throughout his go mode time here. He does still want the Tempered Sword or the Silvers or both if he can find them. But he's not going to go out of his way. He's not going to check anything slow to get it. The cold stare kill going, no missed shots. The worst case scenario does not happen. It's cold stare in the corner, slashes away at him a bit, but with Master Sword, cold stare will eventually escape the corner.
So that was a good amount of hits on Cold Stare when he was in the coldner there. And kind of just going straight at him. Wow, Jets, calm down. I know you're mad. But, yeah, I know he's a boss, but I think that was a little brutal.
So that's items 3 there. So to recap, Jet went into Ice Palace needing the Master Sword and Ether Medallion for Go Mode, got both of them, and then a heart container off the boss, just in case he didn't feel safe enough. Mirrors back to the light world, going to Flute 2, probably 6. And now here's worth thinking about, and some people in chat mentioned as well, but Jet currently has no silvers, the Master Sword, and Fire Rod only. To kill Ganon in that sense with no potions is basically requiring perfection. But as we saw there, when he had his menu open, he's got a green potion. So worst case scenario, that gives you, 16 shots for, what you could do in 8 perfect freezes. So should not be an issue on that front.
Yeah, I believe one of the bottles they picked up was a pre-filled green potion, and I don't know, I know Ninban used his blue potion that he picked up from the ferry in the waterfall cave. I don't know if Jet has used his, though. But we'll see if he makes a pit stop.
Yeah, I don't see him going for it with blue mail, 14 hearts. You got the green potion. I don't think you really need anything else.
Ninban, a little low on hearts again here, heading through the dark maze in the back of Pod. Didn't dip out of Pod after picking up those Titan's mitts.
Yep, and you hate to call things, there could be things that go wrong for Jet, but staying in Pod, taking the time to check more items there, really not what you want to see if you're Ninban fans. Because Jet's got a sizable lead right now.
Yeah, it's a smart idea just to do it while you're in there, hoping to find those items, hoping to find another sword. It makes sense from a routing perspective when you don't know what your opponent's doing and don't know that everything is in one place. And, it could be that you leave the items there and that's the gamble and what you needed was there the entire time and then you're even behind there. So it's definitely kind of that thinking process you need to do in a 1v1 match. What's my opponent doing? Is my opponent known for clearing everything? Is my opponent known for leaving stuff behind? And how should I play against their quote-unquote style?
Yeah, especially as we get deeper in this tournament where runners are more consistently well matched in terms of skill at the game, playing your opponent and having plans for the stuff they might do is a lot more valuable than, say, your first group stage race. And hey, vanilla big key, because why wouldn't it be?
Sure, why not?
Jet gonna head to the back of Misery Mire, gonna do the dark rooms back here. Now, mind you, they are not the easiest dark rooms, but there are very consistent setups for all the back of Mire that make it, a lot easier than it could be. Ninban gets the quick kill on Armos, gets another crystal for himself. That's number 5 on his side, as Jet makes his way through these dark rooms, getting close to the end here. Ninban is fluting to 1, going to head up to Dark Death Mountain. We know this is a waste of time outside of maybe a sword. The hope, if you are rooting for Ninban, is for T-Rock to not require Quake. Because if T-Rock requires Quake, I can almost assure you he will dive in there.
Well, he can't really make any progress because he hasn't gotten Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
So it's a good thing.
I'm not a smart man.
Yeah, it's a good thing that even if TR requires Quake, he's not going to go in there. But he might kind of think, where's that Cane of Samaria? Because I might have to go in here. But, checking this kind of item-dense overworld location, kind of messing up the hookshot block trick there, having to go around the long way. But, yeah, checking an item-dense overworld location versus a smaller chance dungeon in Ice Palace, even though it is a crystal, I can see it. Just if you're worrying that you missed something in an easy location.
Yeah, but I feel like Jet probably didn't feel great after, Swamp didn't pay off for him and he found the Mitt's first chest of pod. That's probably why he prioritized Ice as early as he did, but not necessarily the usual thing to see. Oh, hey, look, it's Quake, and
it is Quake.
Ninban will be very happy he did not go to Mire Shed before going up here. $3 bombs, a piece of heart, a $20, and could still be the sword or the silvers. No, just regular arrows. At this point, Jet heading up to Skull Woods just needs to go kill Mothula to have access to GT. Ninban heading over here to go check the Ether Tablet, which we had not seen yet. Can't actually get the item due to only having Fighter Sword, but can learn what's here.
And it's just money. I think the other one had money too or something.
It did. What's with whoever made these tablets just wanting to store money in the sky?
Alright, Ninban finally heading over to that Mire area, seeing that, yeah, I can't get into Mire. And gonna pick up the Cane of Samaria downstairs here in the shed.
And then there's just one hope. Please don't go back to the mountain. There are definitely a group of people who do like to avoid Ice Palace as much as they can. So, ideally, that won't be what Ninban does here. Okay, we got the Ice Palace play coming up. Ninban will be in go mode shortly, but Jet has killed the moth, crystal number 7 obtained. And I guess that means we have a little game to play, do we not?
Indeed we do.
So what are all these random numbers I'm seeing in the chat?
So, Gannis Tower, big final dungeon, has 22 locations, 21 chests, and one thing on a torch. For the big key to be in, and you, our lovely chat, gets to guess what number between 1 and 22 that big key item is going to be on. And you win a position on the leaderboards and some good feelings down in the bottom of your heart that you guessed correctly today.
Jet does in fact make a little bit of a pit stop to go buy a blue potion, make sure his time through GT is okay. What number would you put? What number would you guess?
I kind of want to be a little nice and make this a little bit more comfy and give him a chance to find either silvers or another sword, because Master Sword Silverless, I'm making like a cringe face right now. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a little deep and go with 18.
That's fair and very friendly of you. I'm gonna go the exact opposite route and say number 1. I want to see Jet have to do some Master Sword Silverless Ganon.
So this is a smart play here by Jet. You know, you're going up the mountain anyway, might as well check these overworld locations and hope that you find said sword or silverless. Now we know he's not going to find it in here, but you know, maybe Ganon was keeping his bane in his backyard today, but oh yeah, Jet can definitely do Master Sword Silverless Ganon. It's just, does he want to do it?
Well, he's okay with it at least for skipping Hookshot Cave, which is 4 items. Of course, from his perspective, he doesn't know that he's got a very large lead in this race right now. As far as he knows, Ninban is already in GT, and doing that Hookshot Cave is just time you could spend elsewhere. Now, looks like there are 65 points on the line for the big key game here. Okay, that's number 2. Number 2 wins.
So you got your wish. It was very early. Not your exact number, but yeah. Still need to pick up a small key here, so gonna grab that, and he's gonna head up the tower. So congratulations to Paradox TXX for winning our guessing game today, and a whole bunch of other people guessed number 2 as well later on and got some little bonus points. Congratulations.
Ninban tried to do the little clip through the corner of the staircase there and just barely missed it.
So we'll see if I was gonna say, we'll see if Jet opens up any of those pathway chests, like in the little mini Helmasaur room, or Moldorm's final chest as well. Just trying to get that another item just to help with the Ganon fight. But most of the way at the tower, you know, we're just gonna be shooting through.
Yep, we got the gauntlet, the thing that is most consistent from vanilla to rando, because there's only so much that your item set changes when it comes to how you do the gauntlet.
Ninban going for Hammer Cold Stare instead of all sword as Jet did. A little bit more quicker damage, but, you know, you're working with that hammer hitbox. Getting down to 2 hearts again.
Okay, he got him down. He had me worried there for a moment, but Colts are dead. Ninban Crystal number 6 has been obtained.
I guess Ninban just kind of likes those clutch boss fights.
Sure seems that way, you know. He's a boss going against other bosses. You gotta take pleasure in taking him down at risk to yourself. Jet didn't quite get the 0 cycle on Lambo 2, chose to save some extra magic, but gets the spin attack on the last worm at the end to move on just fine.
Ninban also stocking up on all blue potions there to help his way through the tower. Actually, possibly Meyer first. So let's do Meyer.
Yeah, that'll probably help.
Yeah, it's the 7/7, not a 6/6.
Let's be real. If it was 6/6, then that Ether Medallion would have just been in GT, so you didn't have the option. Oh. Gauntlet is over, Torch Room 1 is done, Jet entering into the second Torch Room. The first of the 4 chests upstairs that you could check will be coming up here.
Ooh, half magic, that is helpful.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you were looking for, but you will not complain about it.
He can be a little bit less careful about his magic meter, basically.
Yep, and with that green potion and the blue potion he bought beforehand, if he chooses to, he could just fight phase 2 of Ganon with the cape on. Phase 2 is generally the most dangerous part of a Master Sword Ganon. Took a fall for Moldorm to number 1, going back for round 2, and gets him down.
Yeah, waiting until he turned around versus chasing him down. And nope, no sword. We're doing this Master Sword.
Yeah, but I gotta, you know, for those of us watching, this is not a very dramatic moment. That fall to Moldorm. For Jet, who doesn't know that Ninban is still in Meyer, that fall probably felt terrifying, like, oh no, he's definitely ahead now. No way he felt like that.
That was possibly a triple on the first round of Aghanim here. I couldn't tell if those 2 shots ended up doubling on top of each other, which means it would only count as 1 hit.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a 2-1-2-1 to wrap up Aga 2. And moving on to the big pig himself, Ganon. So with Master Sword only, we have a long fight ahead of us. Phase 1 of Ganon is going to take 12 spin attacks. You cannot slash, you can only spin. 12 spins for phase 1, 12 spins for phase 2, 4 spins to get through the teleports in phase 3, and then an additional 24 spins for phase 4.
Get comfy. We're gonna be here a while.
Yep, you know, you got kind of 2 phases to this fight in this form. The first phase is the hard part, which is phases 1 and 2. Phases 3 and 4 are not that difficult once you know what you're doing. They're just very long, and it's very easy to make mistakes when things go on for a long time.
Yeah, just by messing up your position and not noticing your knockback and falling down, or your timing gets off for hitting Ganon when he teleports. Because for those who don't know, to do Silverless Ganon, you have to hit him just as he teleports, or else you'll miss or you'll freeze him. And when he's frozen, it just wastes time because then he's just sitting there and you can't do anything for him.
Ganon given Jet a good lineup to get a lot of double spins in, but Jet himself wasn't quite lined up for it, so only got a couple spins in for that cycle.
They're playing a little safe here, because down to 3.5 hearts and probably wants to save those potions as long as possible.
And into phase 3 now, the dangerous part of the fight is basically over.
Or also, I guess he was counting his spins. That's why he's only spun him once on that final bat cycle, and then just stayed away.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense that way.
Ninban, meanwhile, making his way through the dark area of Mire here. And Jet thankfully gets Torch Glitch.
Yep, without Torch Glitch, with the situation he's in, it's basically just go reset the fight. Popping that blue potion, he is going to place his bet in himself that, 2 half magic bars is enough to get through this, which it certainly will be. Just gotta kind of keep playing chess here, dodging around those fire bats like you're moving a knight, and just kind of wait for Ganon to die eventually. This is not the most exciting of fights. It's very difficult, but it goes on forever.
My heart's kind of pounding. I always get a little bit on the edge of my seat when I see this going, especially when a hit gets missed or he bounces really close to the edge or something.
Yeah, I know for a running perspective, it's nerve-wracking. From a viewing perspective, it's also kind of nerve-wracking if the situation is right.
We did it!
Hey, that is Ganon dead. That'll have Jet finishing in first place with a time of 1:25:08. Just a few seconds later, Ninban puts in a dot forfeit. Don't blame him, you're not even in Ganon's Tower yet. Why go through all of it?
So GG's in chat to Jet, our winner, and Ninban for putting up a very good race tonight. That was a interesting seed, very dry at the beginning, and then very specific path you had to go through to get this time that Jet got.
And we are joined by both Jet and Ninban. How's it going, guys? GG to you both.
Hey, GG Ninban.
Hey, GG Jet. Congrats.
Thanks.
So, did you guys get the kick out of the mirror being locked by boots that I got out of that?
Anytime I see an item on the library shelf, I'm like, it's nice. It tells you you're gonna get boots at some point in the seed, but it's like almost always my go mode. So I'm like, that's gonna be the last item I get. So I'm glad to actually see it be important earlier on. Because it's mirror. I like having mirror for Dark World.
Pretty much the same thought. I like having boots early, so A very required item on library means you get boots earlier than most seeds.
Yeah, guaranteed that we're actually going to finish the game with them pretty much.
So I think the main thing that kind of set things apart here was those Titans mitts in pod into the Cane of Samaria in Mire Shed and the Ether Medallion in Ice Palace. I know Ninban went up to Dark Death Mountain. Jet, you went kind of straight to the Mire area and then straight to Ice.
Right. So I wanted to see what medallion was required, and I'm like, I could do desert while I'm here. And then once I couldn't get in, I mean, Kane right on the doorstep for some reason, but I just do Crystal Dungeon, so Ice was next. And if that didn't work, I was probably going to go to Dark Death Mountain next, I think. I think that was the next dense location I had.
As for me, I was just going for the dense area because I still needed 2 items. There were 6 on Dark Death Mountain. I already did Desert, so I wanted to kind of go mode Ice and Mire since I got mids later, at least late. So yeah.
And I think both of you full clear, not full clear, but Jet, you did full clear Swamp Palace. Ninban, you went through to the boss and didn't go back for the left side items. You just did that for, I noticed in the seed, like all the item dense dungeons were all pendants this time. So
Yes.
you're just kind of picking the one you could go into and just hoping that item density would work out for you. And in the end, it did. An Ninban for the only item in Swamp really was the was the third shield. So didn't miss anything on the left side.
I mean, I noticed, I'm like, okay, great, I can do all of these pendant dungeons, and it's like it stinks. So I knew I had to make a decision. It's like Swamp or Pod, like which one has the progression. You get 6 items in Swamp, 5 in Pod, but the big difference for me, and I guess I could have thought about doing Pod into Eastern, which I had to clear anyway, but the thing I was thinking about is that you need Lantern to do like half of Pod. Well, a couple things, not half, but there's a few items that are locked behind Lantern, and we didn't have it yet, so I'm like, maybe Swamp has the progression right now. I'm going to go to Swamp. So that was my play, and the reason I left as soon as I got mitts when I went to Pod is because I wasted time in Swamp. I had no idea if Ninban even touched Swamp. I'm like, if he just went right to Pod, got his mitts, I'm like, he's going to be in great shape. So I need to just leave right now and hope there's nothing else here. So yeah, that's, I think, what made the difference.
And Jet, with that victory, you are moving on to the finals of this tournament. How you feeling about that?
Oh, I'm so excited. This is the first time I've been this far in a tournament in general, so super excited. But I do want to say, Ninban, thank you for the race. Guys, make sure you give him a follow. Yeah, thanks for the race.
Yeah, thanks you too for the race. Getting to semifinals is really exciting. It's also the farthest I've been yet in tournaments, and I was really looking forward to these races against Jet. So I'm very happy with this exit. And yeah, good luck for the finals, man. You completely deserve to win it all. So I'll be rooting for you.
Thanks.
And then, Ben, I guess I'll throw in there, you got the bronze match still to come up. So once
Wait,
the other semifinals, what's that?
Are you serious? I'm not free? I'm not free to go? I'm still tied to Randomizer?
I think you got one more match left to go.
One more match. Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's try to get bronze at least.
Yeah, so Ack and Doomtap will be doing their face-off to wrap up the semifinals. Winner gets to go on face Jet over on the finals, and loser gets to go face Ninban over in the bronze match. So we're going to have 2 very good series to kind of wrap things up on that front. Speaking of which, I guess, Jet, any preference for who you want to win the other series?
Neither of them. I was watching their race earlier, and it's a shame what happened to DoomTap, but they're both very strong runners. I don't really have a preference. I'm just gonna have to play my heart out and hope it's good enough.
I like that answer.
Yeah, very solid. So, and any last thoughts before we're finishing off the credits here and see what your final bits are? But any last thoughts on your 2 seeds in this section of the tournament for you, or just the tournament so far?
I would prefer more swords, please. I mean, I could do Master Sword as you guys saw, but at least if we get boots, at least give me a sword first, because part of the fun with boots is having a sword with it. But yeah, good luck on your bronze match, Ninban. Like I said, guys, make sure you give Ninban a follow, and of course, thank you for the restream and commentating and tracking.
Boost Assert tournament next time, please. Hear my please. So yeah, and thank you both you and the tracker. I don't know, Bandman 25, and everyone behind the scenes for us streaming this and giving us the opportunity to have fun in front of an audience and then talk about the seed afterwards. It's really cool. And yeah, that's it. Just go follow Jet, go follow him, and see him win the tournament. It will be very fun. And see you later.
All right. Thank you two again for putting on a great race tonight, and thank you to our tracker tonight, Bandman25, for pressing all them buttons behind the scenes, and of course, thank you, Mentos Man, for joining me tonight in commentary.
Right back at you. It was a pleasure working with you. And schedule-wise for this tournament, we got nothing else on the block so far. I know DoomTap had some issues earlier with power outages. I don't know when that'll be back, when that'll be resolved, where you can confidently schedule another match. But keep an eye on the schedule for anything from our front. In terms of speed gaming in general, there is a Super Mario All-Stars race coming up on this very channel in about 20 minutes, if I'm reading the schedule right. And that'll do it for broadcasts tonight until tomorrow morning on Speed Gaming side.
Yeah, with that Speed Gaming, always showing all kinds of tournaments, and if you want some more link to the past randomizer action, there's always that family of channels to watch for daily races and other fun stuff as well. So with that, I think we are done for tonight here. Thank you all for joining us, chat. We love you.
Have a good one, everyone.